Rowan Atkinson, known globally for his beloved portrayal of Mr. Bean, stunned both audiences and production crew alike when he abruptly stormed off The Late Show with Stephen Colbert in what viewers are already calling one of the most uncomfortable late-night moments in recent memory. The atmosphere was initially lighthearted, with Colbert joking about Atkinson's long career in physical comedy and his recent ventures into more serious roles. But things took a sharp turn when Colbert made a pointed comment about Atkinson's supposed reluctance to engage in modern comedy norms. The studio, previously buzzing with laughter, went uncomfortably silent. Atkinson's expression tightened, and he gave a thin-lipped smile before responding with an unusually curt, "That's not something I take lightly." As the tension escalated, it became clear that this wasn't part of any sketch or scripted gag. Audience members started shifting in their seats, sensing that something very real and very unexpected was unfolding live on national television. What exactly triggered the unexpected confrontation? According to several members of the studio audience who later posted about the incident on social media, Colbert jokingly implied that Atkinson's comedy hadn't aged well in today's culture of political correctness. Atkinson, who has frequently defended free speech and spoken against what he calls cancel culture censorship, visibly bristled at the comment. His sharp retort included a firm statement about the importance of defending comedic expression, no matter how uncomfortable it makes certain audiences. Colbert attempted to pivot, laughing off the comment as mere banter, but Atkinson did not play along. Instead, he leaned forward, fixed Colbert with an intense gaze, and said, "You've just summarized everything wrong with modern comedy in a single sentence." Gasps were heard across the audience, and Colbert was visibly taken aback. The host attempted a smile, but the tension was already beyond the point of recovery. What followed was a back-and-forth exchange that can only be described as one of the most serious tonal shifts ever witnessed on a comedy talk show. Atkinson, maintaining his composed but visibly cold demeanor, accused the late-night format of diluting comedy to fit trending narratives rather than challenging audiences. He referenced a moment from his earlier career, where comedy's job was to provoke and reflect society, not to pander or apologize. Colbert, attempting to salvage the segment, tried steering the conversation back to Atkinson's latest film, but it was clear the damage had been done. "You invited me here as a clown," Atkinson said. "I came as a man." The comment left Colbert speechless for a moment, visibly unsure how to proceed. The band had stopped playing, the crew had frozen in place, and the tension was so thick, many viewers reported feeling secondhand anxiety, even through their screens at home. Then came the moment no one saw coming. Atkinson, usually reserved and measured in public appearances, calmly removed his microphone, stood up, and looked directly at the live audience. "This," he said, gesturing around him, "is what happens when comedy becomes a lecture hall." The crowd remained silent as he walked off stage, leaving a stunned Stephen Colbert sitting alone behind his desk, awkwardly smiling into the silence. Production staff scrambled, cameras cut to a wide shot, and commercial break music played far, louder than usual, attempting to mask the obvious unease in the studio. Social media immediately erupted. Clips of Atkinson walking off began circulating within minutes. Some viewers hailed him as a hero for standing his ground. Others criticized him for overreacting. Regardless of opinion, everyone agreed on one thing: they had just witnessed a once-in-a-career moment on live television. Backstage sources later reported that Atkinson refused to return for the remainder of the interview, citing that the environment was no longer conducive to honest conversation. A member of the crew revealed that Atkinson had warned producers beforehand not to steer the discussion into ideological or cultural critique territory, emphasizing that he was there to promote his film, not debate free speech. Yet, the producers allowed the segment to veer off course, perhaps in pursuit of a viral moment. If so, they certainly succeeded, though maybe not in the way they expected. Colbert, to his credit, addressed the walk-off in the following segment with a mixture of humor and self-reflection, admitting that perhaps the joke had landed wrong and that he might have underestimated how seriously Rowan takes the art of comedy. But the incident had already become the night's main story across every major entertainment and news outlet. In the days that followed, the internet divided into passionate factions. Some applauded Atkinson for defending the artistic integrity of comedians, calling him a brave voice in an age of conformity. Hashtags like Stand With Rowan and Comedy Is Not a Crime trended across X, formerly Twitter. Others, including a few late-night peers, argued that Atkinson had overreacted to what was clearly a satirical show format. One well-known comedian posted, "It's just Colbert. If you can't handle a little late-night roast, maybe don't book the chair." Yet Atkinson remained characteristically silent on the matter, issuing only one brief statement through his publicist. Mr. Atkinson values artistic freedom and honesty. He felt the conversation no longer represented either. That minimalist response only added fuel to the fire. Fans speculated that the incident had struck a nerve with Atkinson on a personal and professional level, perhaps reflecting deeper frustrations with the entertainment industry. Meanwhile, Colbert's team was reportedly in damage control mode. Producers allegedly reached out to Atkinson's representatives the following morning, offering an unedited version of the footage and suggesting a potential private reconciliation. But Atkinson declined, saying he had no interest in manufacturing closure for ratings. Behind the scenes, there was also speculation that CBS might pull the segment from its streaming platforms due to the intensity of the exchange. Yet, when it aired the next evening in full, the network inserted a disclaimer. The following segment contains unscripted content and opinions not reflective of the show's views. It was a rare move, essentially confirming the segment's authenticity and rawness. Viewers praised the decision to air it uncut, citing transparency and the importance of showing real moments, even when uncomfortable. For better or worse, the moment had already etched itself into pop culture history. By the weekend, major media outlets had picked up the story, with headlines ranging from "Rowan Atkinson exposes late-night hypocrisy" to "Comedic genius" or "Thin-skinned diva." Op-eds debated whether Atkinson's reaction was a principled stand or an overblown ego trip. Some veteran comedians came to his defense, noting that Atkinson had always treated comedy as a deeply intellectual craft, not mere slapstick or crowd-pleasing noise. Others accused him of weaponizing his stature to dismiss opposing viewpoints. One cultural critic noted that the clash between Atkinson and Colbert reflected a broader tension in comedy today, between traditionalists who believe in comedy without boundaries and modernists who argue that comedy must evolve with societal values. That single confrontation had reignited a long, simmering debate and polarized an industry already divided by shifting cultural expectations. As the news cycle churned, one surprising development emerged. Atkinson's film, the one he had originally come to promote, saw a massive spike in online interest and ticket pre-sales. Many suspected the controversy, regardless of its nature, had boosted visibility. Ironically, the very thing Atkinson seemed to reject, manufactured virality, was now driving traffic to his creative work. In a twist of poetic justice or marketing brilliance, depending on your perspective, the incident may end up making the film one of his most commercially successful projects in years. Meanwhile, Colbert resumed regular programming, but those close to the show say the moment left a lasting impression. Staffers noted a shift in tone, with future guests receiving more thorough content briefings and producers exercising greater caution in segment planning. The incident had clearly taught everyone involved a lesson, one about the unpredictable nature of live television. In retrospect, the moment will likely be dissected for years to come in media studies classes, comedy circles, and online forums. It was more than just a celebrity walk-off. It was a culture clash, a performance art breakdown, and a reminder of how thin the line is between satire and insult. For Rowan Atkinson, it might mark the beginning of a new phase in his career, one where he's no longer just the silent fool in a tweed coat, but a vocal defender of creative autonomy. For Colbert, it serves as a moment of reflection in an era when even jokes come with consequences. Regardless of which side you fall on, one truth remains. In a world of rehearsed punchlines and scripted laughs, real moments still have the power to shock, divide, and resonate. And sometimes, the most unforgettable performances are the ones no one ever planned.